before, I'm a USAPL lifter, and for a large portion of my training career, I would say I aligned myself with that. I really took in the USAPL thing. I felt like I stood for what they stood for with the drug testing, and I wanted to do the international meets, and same thing with the IPF. I still have that connection, my morals are aligned with, competing at a high level, on a level playing field with drug tested people. That's kind of my overview of what I want to do. But when the split happened, and this is where I'm going to play diplomat and not get into some of the details, but the way I was treated with the USAPL really showed me like, hey, these federations, whether it's USAPL or USPA or whatever, it's a business at the end of the day. And do they really care about you as much as maybe you care about them, or do they pay you to say, I'm a USAPL lifter? No. So I'm all for, doing whatever meets come up and whoever you align yourself with at the moment to have fun, because at the end of the day, we're just lifting weights.
Absolutely. We do this for fun,
yeah,
man.
that's what it's all about.
And I have to
yeah.
That like sometimes I'm in the gym and I'm just pushing myself through this grueling workout and I'm like, man, I do this for fun. Like I just but again, man,
Yep.
when it comes and I'll end it with this, when it comes to training, powerlifting, all that, when I started, I did it for one reason and one reason alone, and that was to get stronger. Because for the majority of my life, I was just this weak little kid. And when I say weak, I was weak. And I fell in love with the process of just getting better. And for anyone listening, whether you've meets before or you're stronger than I, or maybe you're not, or have never competed before, whomever, do this for the sake of just bettering yourself. Like I am completely unbothered by the folks because again, you have to be very careful with things like social media, Instagram, probably number one, because it's like I'll hit this PR or whatever in the gym just to see like some 17-year-old kid do it for like twice the amount of reps. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like there's always going to be somebody out there who's stronger. Like, comparison is the thief of joy, and that's why I don't check like Instagram and stuff today. It's it makes me feel very like overstimulated at times, and I have things in my day-to-day real life world that I need to tend to, mainly like my son and whatnot. And, ultimately like being a dad, being a husband, a homeowner, all that, like these are things that I have to prioritize over, powerlifting, despite the fact that powerlifting and just weight training altogether is a significant part of my life and has been for the last 10 years and has only grown more and more as a part of my being over these 10 years. And my hope is that I'm able to get people, like when I see people come to the gym, be like, yeah, I've seen your videos, and like, it's just cool to be in here with you and stuff. Like, I think that's super cool. And, I remember I was listening to a podcast one day, and this guy was like, if you have a family, if you have like outside obligations or whatever, and you don't have the capabilities to completely dedicate your entire life to your sport, chances are you're going to have to be okay with maybe getting passed or beaten or whatever you want to call it by those people. And while I think that's a little subjective, I think it's true for the most part. Like, no, I can't structure my entire life around just doing powerlifting. Like I can't, it's like, oh, I got this max effort set on deadlifts today. I'm going to sleep for 10 hours and wake up and do my ice bath and then 2 hours of meditating. And then I'm going to eat this and that. I've got a 9 to 5. I've got responsibility. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of it is just a lot of management, time management, all that. But truly, I do what I do because I have a genuine love for it, and I have a genuine love for the people like yourself who I've met along the way, that just because of who you are and what you've done and the standard that you hold yourself to, and like it's allowed me to become a better human being, and ultimately that's all I want to do. And this is fun for me. It's fun for me now. It's been fun like it was 10 years ago, training by myself at like 11 o'clock at night, doing way too many bicep curls, because back then we didn't have all this science when it comes. You know what we had, Tristan? We had CT Fletcher, right? We had like, I train arms
That's
every day.
right.
Like it was there's no damn science. I got 23-inch arms. There's your science. Oh
Yep.
man.
Yeah. No, and I I don't think I could have said it any better. And you really do represent exactly what my goal of this whole YouTube channel is to convey. And that's, I think almost too much of social media, strength athletes, powerlifters, bodybuilders, etc. Right? The really high level ones that people see tend to be like full-time influencers. A great example is Russell Orhe, and I'm going to preface this with a big long preface. Um, I this isn't meant to be positive or negative towards Russ. I'm sure he's gotten a lot of people into powerlifting. I know he's gotten a lot of people into powerlifting, and
He's been a
he's
huge
very good at what he does.
Been a huge inspiration for me.
And I think what he's doing is a good thing, but at the same time, a lot of those powerlifters, like his full-time job is social media and the gym, which, hey, that's awesome. Honestly, there's a little part of me that's like, oh, that would be a good time. But I think 99.9% of all powerlifters who ever get into the sport will not be in that position. They'll be in the position of you and I, where we have a full-time job and we're working around that, and your son that you're working with to be as good of a father as possible. So, I think the more of that we can get out there, and people can see like, oh, we can be really strong and good power lifters without having to have the other things to make it a little easier,
Sure. No, completely agree. And to touch on Russ specifically, man, like it was really watching him. Like, yeah, the dude is his